Sigma males are typically drawn to authentic, meaningful, loyal relationships whilst eschewing transient, transactional, or shallow relationships. Put simply, Sigmas do not tend to want fair-weather friends. Some of you continue to misunderstand what a Sigma male actually is. Maybe you've been reading or listening to other sources that don't actually understand what they are talking about, but Sigma males do not completely shun all relationships and spend all their time alone. In fact, one of the greatest joys in life for a Sigma is spending time with others in authentic, meaningful communion. Before we continue on the subject of relationships, understand that whilst the archetypes are based on real-world observable data, it is more complex and nuanced than pulling out a few characteristics and stating Sigmas do this, act like this, think like this, under all circumstances, all the time. The real world does not work that way. Circumstances change, people change. Let me first of all credit the original creator of the term Sigma male, Vox.A. He has also pointed out that to make the study of archetypes, the socio-sexual hierarchy, as useful as possible, you also need to understand that the archetypes are fractal, dynamic and relative. For example, let's say you have a guy who is pretty much a loser in real life. Low IQ, poor social skills, crappy job, few friends, doesn't attract women in his day-to-day life. He's not bitter, however, doesn't attack others for no reason, and is not delusional. By the socio-sexual hierarchy, he's an omega. Yet he's a superb singer and guitar player. He plays in a band every week, and girls occasionally throw themselves at him. When he's playing the guitar and singing in a band, he's the alpha, the top dog in that environment, and he gets the majority of the girls. In that context, he's the alpha. Now let's suppose he gets busted for selling drugs and is sent to prison. He's placed in the highest security wing amongst the most dangerous and vicious in society, the murderers, rapists, and psychopaths. He now barely registers on the hierarchy at all and is right at the bottom of the rung. He's a plaything for the other prisoners. Even in the prison environment, the socio-sexual hierarchy plays out. Have you ever heard about women sending letters to notorious and violent criminals and visiting them in prison? In some cases they even get married and have sex. So don't spurg out over the archetype or the label. Use this theory as a heuristic, but don't think in a binary fashion. Appreciate the nuance. Also, understand that the archetype is based on the observable behavior of the individual in question. You can have a gamma who is very rich, but he's still intrinsically a gamma, despite his wealth and high social status. A guy might look like an alpha, but behave like an omega, low confidence, doesn't know his own thoughts, cannot relate to people. And so on. I've said before that Sigmas are outside of the hierarchy by choice. But in order to remove yourself from the hierarchy, you have to find a way of surviving, and even thriving without following the typical path to success that most people rely on. I mention this to tease out an important character trait of Sigmas that attracts them to these kind of relationships. Because of the drive to remove themselves from the hierarchy and rely solely on themselves, Sigmas have a close relationship and respect for dealing with reality. So what's it like dating a Sigma male? Remember that Sigma males sit right at the top of the socio-sexual hierarchy. Think of them as introverted alpha males. Because of this, they tend to have lots of opportunities with women. Crucially though, they have to create these opportunities themselves. Unlike the alpha who usually has a static social circle, Sigma males tend to be more nomadic, so they usually have to approach and attract women using nothing but their charisma and sex appeal. Whilst they have plenty of opportunity for lots of flings, it doesn't mean they go against their natural tendency for meaningful relationships. When a Sigma gets involved with a woman, the relationship is usually deep and authentic. Even short-term flings can be very intense, and the woman will remember them for years. Generally speaking, I have found it to be a truism that if a man has the ability to get lots of women, then he is certainly going to act on it. But as I've said in other videos, Sigmas tend to evolve constantly throughout their lives, and the same Sigma that used to sleep with 5 or 6 women a week on occasion at 25 to 39 might very well end up settling down in his mid to late 40s. But he's still the same guy. A relationship between a Sigma male and Sigma female is unlikely to work. The problem is that both are too independent. so they tend to work against each other rather than cooperatively. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.